It's bigger. It's louder. It's better than ever. This still isn't your typical motorsports podcast. This is the 10th anniversary of Crush This, a monster truck podcast brought to you by J Concepts. For 10 years, your hosts, the monster truck Canucker Bradshaw and Dan Chichagash, have brought you into the minds and personalities of the monster truck industry. Strap in and hold on tight. This is Crush This!
Hey, welcome to another episode of Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by J Concepts. Man, I want to thank all you fans for all the 5-star likes and reviews on Spotify and iTunes. We had, I think last week, I don't even know who we had last week. Steve Jones, I think, yep, Monster Truck Attitude, which, if you watch that, we'll get to that one second, but beforehand, if you watch that, go ahead and show some love for the Monster Truck Attitude. One Smashdown tonight. The old Raminator is getting on the trailer. We're going to have a new one ready to go for next month in August. So one name doesn't have to do the join in and everything like that, but it's all fun and games. But you see these two bad boys are behind me. Our guest is a huge RC racer. So we're going to have them on here in a little bit. But if you want a truck that looks like the Virginia Giant or Bigfoot Chrome Illusion, you can get most of that from jconcepts.net. The brick nose 1984 body Virginia Giant there. It was painted by Dan Wyatt in Michigan. It's actually the same body that's on the website. So if you go on the website, I saw the roll bar, but I'm trying to make the truck more look like Cliff Val's Virginia Giant for this time. I know he runs with run with silver rims, but these are the same tires for my LMT Hotsy truck. But I just felt like putting the Virginia Giant on. It just looks really cool. The body, you can get that there at J Concepts. The Renegade tires are behind me with those both trucks. You can get that also with the tribute rims. Now, the Bigfoot body is a 05 Ford F-250. I always show that off. The Chrome Illusion, the wraps from JB Scale Graphics out of Waterloo, Illinois. So the body, that's pretty good. Once again, it has the regulator and the tribute rims. Both trucks also have the bead locks that you can get from J Concepts. So once again, if you go to jconcepts.net, checkout, type in Crush This for 15% off all your cool needs for your RC monster trucks and all that jazz too. So go to jconcepts.net to get yourself some cool RC stuff. And once again, thank you for J Concepts for presenting our podcast for this awesome show that we do. And we're running 10 years. Or still keep on trucking. Want to now let you guys know next week we're gonna have a guest. We're gonna bring Kurt Kramer back. We haven't spoke to him. I speak to him like yesterday or today, but we're gonna speak to him again this year. For this year, talk about the season and stuff like that, and the outdoor season. Retiring Rammunition and bringing a new name, Ramdemption, to the monster truck world. So we go from there. Also, if you guys go, this is off topic here. There's a YouTube studio called Off Track, and they just did a video about Hall Brothers Racing. We'll post, I think I posted on the Facebook site for Crush This. Go take a look at that. Show some love. It was a pretty good film about the Hall brothers and what they done. I thought that was pretty neat, awesome to see and stuff like that. We're gonna do some Jimmy stuff. While we're at it too, I think Monsters Monthly. Monsters Monthly does, if you don't follow Crush This on our social media platforms or you don't listen to it on Spotify or you don't have iTunes, go to monstersmonthly.com. He puts it on his website maybe a few days after we do on all the platforms. Go take a look at that and show some love and listen to that. It's free to listen. Click on it, stuff like that. Go ahead and show some love. Once again, 5-star likes. Thank you again on Spotify and on iTunes. Thank you for following us on Facebook and on YouTube. And then also we are live on Instagram. I think Habo is already seeing that already on Instagram. So maybe give some feedback on that too. So show that too. Instagram, show some love. Take a screenshot, tag us, show us that you know, hey, I'm watching this podcast. Try to get people more involved. That'd be so awesome. Once again, do it for Jimmy. We always got to do that. While we're at it too, might as well thank Bryce Kenny and his book, Geared for Life, Making Your Shift into Your Full Potential. Go take a look at that on Amazon.com. It's also on Spotify too, so take a look at that and listen to that. It's about 5 hours long, so it goes through the whole book. Listen to it. Good travel book, but it's also help you out with life's challenges on how to make the right shift to handle the diversity of life in general. So go take a look at that. Bryce Kenny in Gear for Life. While you're at it too, show some love and go to our spread shop, my spread shop at Crush This, a Monster Truck Podcast. We're gonna try to get some new shirts ready to go. We're coming up with some ideas for a new batch. Be on the lookout for that. We still have some old ones like the Big Bad and Blown. We got the t-shirts, stuff, cups, koozies, anything that they can help make, they can put together. So show some love. It takes a little bit of maybe a week or two to get your stuff in, but they do it while ordering. So after you do your order, you go ahead and do all that stuff. So once again, go to our spreadshop.com. So once again, we're going to do it for Jimmy, but we're going to have Brad on here before we put Habo in, and then we'll talk about our weekend for a little bit. Brad had some big time at Edmonton for Monster Jam, and I did some sightseeing in Indianapolis, some walks in the park. May have seen probably 39 new gen stock cars go around the racetrack. Yeah. So, but we're going to thank our big sponsor here. Once again, I'll let you know that this boy is moving on to Smashdown. So the Raminator diecast truck's going to move on to the MTA Smashdown for the August month, and with a new look also. So that's going to be pretty cool too to see, and all that jazz. Let's see here. Oop, we're getting more people here. Just want to drill the questions for if I got one. Okay, so I'm gonna look at all the questions going on here. So right now I am looking at, if you guys have any questions for Habo, also please ask. There's a lot of stuff going on here. He's like a Heinz 57 ketchup bottle, has a lot of ingredients inside. So he's gonna tell everything that's going on. The announcing for Toughest, BMX, doing BMX work, the video games, the Bigfoot open house, how he got started. So go ahead and go ask that question away. But we're gonna have Brad on here, then we'll join Habo in, and then we're gonna talk about our weekend and our week a little bit, and it's pretty fun to do. So we're gonna I think we're gonna try to show the comments. No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a commercial, and then we'll get into our program.
Are you ready to get in on the action here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel? Look no further. Head over to Facebook where you can sign up for all the great events we host right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Be sure to sign up for the events and register your name and get locked in with a monster truck of your own and get ready for the great thrills and spills right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Again, find us on Facebook, register for these events, and you soon will be competing in all the great events. We hope to see you there, and get ready for the wild and crazy action. Be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a beat right here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel.
Oh man, I aced that. Did you see that?
Dude, that was money, dude.
Ooh, that was good. That should be on ESPN right there. Da 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 da. Top 10 move right there. That was perfect timing. I tell you that much.
Brother.
But hey, we got Brad on here, man. Co-host, founder, the guy who gave birth to this. Okay, that was a little awkward.
Yeah, that was awkward there, bud.
But we know Canadian males are more pregnant than American males, so. But no, man. Let's talk about your weekend before we talk about mine, and then we'll have our guest on for the fans. But man, we had an exciting weekend, just in general. So we'll go ahead and have you go ahead and talk about your fun time.
Yeah, well, last year I got to help out Team Throttle Monster in Edmonton. After we did the episode with Devin Winfield or with Tim Hall, and kind of got the ball rolling, helped them out last year. Last year was that was a crazy weekend. Just with everything that was happening in my life, with my job at the time, family member passing that same weekend. It was a rough weekend for me that year. But this year we had Alex Barden on and asked him again, like, hey, Edmonton's the closest show to me. You mind if I come help you guys out again? He's like, yeah, for sure. Go ahead. Like, we love help. And so made the trek down there Friday, got there in time for practice. Took a little bit to get signed into, the venue and stuff like that. But once I was in, everything went smooth. About a couple days before, found out that Charlie Pauken was going to be driving Gravedigger, which for me was really cool because he was at the very first Monster Jam show I attended in Edmonton in 2011. So getting to work a show with the legend, Charlie Pauken, was really cool. I think this was his first ever time in like a arena pod setting. So he took a couple extra practice laps, and we also had a debut in Edmonton for the second year in a row. Last year, Carson Williams piloted Monster Mutt in his debut weekend of Monster Jam. Same thing happened again this year, but with Preston Collins making his debut with Team Throttle Monster in Monster Jam. We had Preston, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack, Devin Winfield in Velociraptor, and Alex in Earthshaker. A lot of like great team. Devin Winfield's girlfriend Kylie was helping out as well. It was an awesome weekend for the team. 2 rollovers, not really much body damage for Earthshaker or Monster Mutt. Track was very tacky. It rained the night before. They couldn't load in the night before because there was a Katy Perry concert the night before, which Tim got tickets to somehow with John Solkowski. They're one of the newer guys with Team Throttle on this time. Yeah, John was there. That was just great guy. John, I can't say nothing good about that guy. He's just a solid 10 out of 10 dude. Very patient with me. I don't get to do this a lot, so the whole team was just patient with me. My main role was helping fuel up trucks, making sure things were tight, wiping trucks down, shining tires, just trying to be that extra set of hands. Luckily, we were pitted on the nicer side of the arena, not like last year having to walk all through the corridors carrying fuel jugs to the far other side of the arena. But yeah, we had a good weekend. Devin took overall on the first show. I think, Devin got racing. Tim got 2-wheel, I believe, the first show. Second show, Charlie Pauken was able to get the overall. But the third show on Sunday is kind of what I want to focus on. My history with Jurassic Attack goes until when I was a little kid. Very first show I ever went to with my dad, Jurassic Attack was there. And it's been my favorite truck my entire life. And, being able to befriend Don Frankish and hang out with him, and eventually led to him giving me the chance to drive his ride truck at a Monster Truck Throwdown event, which is still one of the top 10 coolest moments of my life. But I got to announce Tim in Edmonton in front of the fans in my favorite team's arena, the Edmonton Oilers in Rogers Place. Kay Young called me a crew chief, which is crazy that I was called a crew chief because that's the farthest thing. I'm a podcaster, graphic designer, wannabe crew guy, but not a crew chief. But that was still cool to hear. Flubbed it up a little bit I meant to say the team is the team is based on each other. I was like, the team is in Utah. I was so nervous. I was shaking like a leaf. But it was one of the coolest experiences of my life, and for a dude that wasn't technically supposed to be here on this earth, pardon my French, I get to do cool shit, and don't ever let somebody tell you can't do anything, because you can. So I'm just blessed beyond belief, and I get to live a cool life. So that's basically about sums it up. It's out there on YouTube or on the Monster Jam stream. It's on my social media. If you guys want to see me doing something pretty badass, it's out there. So that was really cool.
Nice. And that's awesome to know about, the time there and stuff. How big is that arena in general?
It's tight because there's no dashes. The dashes are removable. So
eating also.
Yeah. And so it's a little tighter, and the thing is, there's no backflip ramp at that arena because there's a parking garage right underneath. Right. So with how the trucks have to be parked, they have to be parked in a certain way to distribute the weight on the floor. But it's still cool to me that I get, even though we've lost a Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, it's still cool to be able to work a show at my favorite team's arena, and just the history of that team. And yeah, it's like I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here. When I got back to my van, I cried like a baby. I'm not even going to lie, like happy tears, like Cheech, my story, all the crap that I've gone through in my life, to be able to announce my favorite truck in front of, fellow Albertans. It was so cool. Thank you to Ryan Albin, Brian Anger, all the people at Monster Jam for letting me do that, because that for me is one of the coolest moments I've ever gotten to do. And I hope to do it again at some point. And still, I'm still content with, doing what I do in the industry, but damn it, that was cool. But what you had a really cool week as well. Last week when we talked, the next day, the Wednesday, was the Champaign County Fair that you guys did a show at. And then you and Andy Ullum headed over to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard, for an amazing weekend of racing. How was that, buddy?
I don't know. I think now this episode I think we're probably gonna book you next week. This gonna probably take all a long day now. He's like, what the hell?
No, we're still gonna get.
We're still gonna have you on.
We're still gonna have you on. Don't worry, Habo. Don't worry, buddy. Gotta shoot the shit about some BMX, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on here in a few minutes. But I mean, man, Wednesday we had a Champaign County Fair in Champaign, Illinois. To our guests outside of Mark and the new yellow and black Raminator Ramdemption with Kurt Kramer. I was in Hotsy. Then we had Bryce Kaluchka in Living on the Edge. Long story on that. They changed the name from Get Her Done to Living on the Edge. And then Michaela's truck is called Beautiful Chaos. So they're pretty much the last show for them for this year before Monster Jam season kicks in for next year. But we did pretty good. We had time racing. It was still hot. It was like 92, 95, but it didn't rain. Time racing. Best trick. I try to do a slap wheelie. I'm going to learn how to do that. I really want to master that. So I need to get some more momentum and then get it up and slap and stuff like that. Did a pretty good donut. And then freestyle, I think, what Kevin did. I ran a little bit more aggressive than I'm just flowing through. The truck is handling everything I do, square, hit square, and everything like that. My time run was pretty decent too. I felt like I was second or third. That truck ran pretty dang good. It is what it is, but freestyle, I had good flow. I had my first ever time where the truck shut off on me when I was in midair. But the truck landed, felt like a pillow. Fixed it, fired it up, did a couple more hits, and parked it. So the truck ran pretty dang good, and so I'm excited about that. And then Tuesday, went to see the the motocross. They had a huge motocross thing going on there, so I took a look at that. Andy went to Menards to get some signatures for a couple ARCA drivers and a couple Cup drivers, and not Cup, but Craftsman Truck Series. I went there for a little bit, came back, and then the next day, well, we got a message from Brad Shaw. It says, "Oh, be right back." Anyway, we went and saw practice. So, yes, if anyone's wondering about Mr. Morgan Kane, I know Andy drew a picture of him in social media, and I have a couple items because I did a TikTok video. He hooked us up. He works for Team Penske as a marketing director for Team Penske. This show, he was helping out Discount Tire, which was sponsoring the number 2 Austin Cindric Ford Cup car. But he hooked us up with a pass to go to the garage and also the pit area. So this card right here, while the race is running, you can hang out at the pit stall or watch practice, watch qualifying, go hang out with them in the pit area, in the garage, stuff like that. It was pretty cool. And it made the experience, it was awesome. If you followed my social media, it was pretty much it. I mean, watching them take off during qualifying was cool. And then the tickets also, a lot of the tickets, a lot of tracks are kind of iffy, but this one was pretty cool. You know, the ticket for the Pennzoil 220, 250, and then the Brickyard. So, and they have these things called flex tickets. So a flex is you have the range. Well, yeah, it's 55 for it, but you have the range to go to all these sections just to sit down to watch the race. So pretty much like end zone, the A stand, which has a roof over it and stuff like that. I can't. Let me get that adjusted. So those are areas where you could go sit during the race. And if you're tired of that seat, you can get up and go to another section during the race is running to go see another side of it. So the access of what Indy does is phenomenal. If you have a chance to go to Indianapolis and watch anything from the NASCAR, even they even said that the 500, if you go to the infield, it's like $55. $55 to see the Indianapolis 500. But anyway, we went to Indianapolis Raceway Park, watched the ARCA cars on Friday, and then we watched the Truck Series on Friday again. We stayed a little bit longer, and they had brought the rigs out. And when they brought the rigs out, they had the rigs park all around the racetrack. They load up and stuff like that. That was freaking cool. And then also prior to that, it started raining, and Josh Rhodes joins us. Him and his awesome fiance Tina came over and went and saw the museum. They redid the museum. If you've ever been to the museum in Indianapolis, they changed everything. So there's like a Penske Hall, like a Nassie Hall. They even have a Hendrick Hall. They have 8 of the they have 8 winners from the Indianapolis Brickyard, from Jeff Gordon to Dale Earnhardt. The first 2 to ever win it, they're right next to each other. Bobby Labonte's 2000 car. They have Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Brad Keselowski, and Tony Stewart. They only had 8 cars there, but still, they had. They also had the last 2 champions. So the 2024 champion car, Joey Logano, and the 2023 champion Ryan Blaney was there in the Penske Hall. So we went there Friday. Saturday we went to see the Pennzoil 250. Another thing is beforehand we went there. Justin Allgaier, all you have to do is ask for a wristband and you get a wristband. This is pretty special because they didn't cut it off on me. But I went to see Justin, got my diecast signed. That race, I think Coolidge, the 88 car, won, which gave Junior Motorsports their 100th win in Cup, which,
by the way, that was Connor Zilich's third win in a row as well.
we even got these hats. They had these hats too. The 100th win hats for Xfinity. You could buy them there when you got there. Now I think they're doing them online and stuff, but we got that. It's about to fall. But this wristband was pretty cool. That Junior Motorsports got their 100th one, and they didn't cut this off. So this is really special to me because of that. And then also got my car signed by Justin Allgaier, which I'm starting to follow Justin because he's from Illinois, but he's loyal to Earnhardt Jr. You don't see a lot of drivers loyal to their teams like they have before. So I thought that was pretty cool for that. And so that then the Cup race, once again, we went to the pit walk, took pictures because I also collect 124th diecast cars. So you never know when they come out. Andy does it because you never know which teams are selling. I say fiberglass, but the bodies itself, some pieces and stuff like that. He takes pictures of the cars. So there's a few cars I'm interested in outside the Bubba Wallace win. One of them is Josh Berry's 21 PPG car. That looked good. Mr. Mellon, Ross Chastain, and his green apple Busch Light car. That was also pretty mint. I like that.
I got to say one thing. Another scheme that I really caught my eye. Chris Buescher, the chair.
Yes, that was good. Yep,
dude. Okay,
yep.
I gotta say this. RFK has some of the best schemes in NASCAR. I gotta say that right now, and it's because of Brad Keselowski following the whole Roger Penske idea of schemes.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the
his bodyguard scheme, his bodyguard or body armor.
Bodyguard. Which is a brand that Fastenal sells. When I worked at Fastenal, we sold that.
That black and orange body was really good, and that Diet Coke, cherry Diet Coke. Have you seen that in person? Everyone was around that car? It was mint. That's another one.
The only thing that would have made it even just a smidgen better if it was white, like the cans and the case are in stores, it would have been that much better.
I like the early 90s lettering.
Yes. Yeah. I really agree with that. As a graphic designer myself, like that car aesthetically, it was probably the nicest paint scheme there, in my opinion.
Mine was the PPG.
Yes.
The 21 car was that just stuck out like a sore thumb and looked very beautiful. Yeah. Second was the Guy Coke. And then the third for me was definitely the Busch Light. The Ross Chastain.
The Busch Light lime car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like those three, which I collect the diecast and stuff. It's kind of becoming a big deal for me. I have the two cars back there signed by Christopher Bell. Saw him Sunday, and those also found out that it's weird because the monster trucks and in NHRA, you can go up to them and get signed signatures and stuff like that. Like, I have a license plate with all these signatures, but had to walk with them. Like, it was weird. It was like, I was super fanning, but you had to walk up to the drivers and walk with them while he's signing and stuff like that. And then they leave and there's the next driver. Well, it's like kind of different than monster trucks where people go to you and you sign. And then, or like in NHRA, you just hang out at the pits and then the driver's there and you just start BSing and bullshitting with them and kid show, and you have signed whatever, or you have like one time I met Courtney Force. I'm just talking and stuff and she signs a hero card and she's going to get a picture. Like, she asked me for a picture. Leah does the same thing, and all the drivers do that, but NASCAR is a little bit different. And but they have to. They're always on the go.
Yep.
That maybe people will be like, well, that guy's a jerk. Well, you got to understand what they're coming from. They're you stepped in front of them. They love their fans. Don't get me wrong, but they're getting told by another. I never saw a driver at that track walking casually by himself. There's always a marketing person, uh, I'm thinking about their
bodyguard
person,
or something
not
like
a
that.
bodyguard, a person like telling you, hey Brad, at
Like an assistant, like a personal assistant kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, type deal, saying like 2:15, you got an interview with Pepsi or something like that, and you have to get ready for the show or get ready for the race and stuff like that. So that was it, but they're not going to turn down the signature.
No.
That's one thing I found out too. Doesn't matter how busy they are, you have to come to them, but they're not. They will never turn down a signature.
Because
occasionally they may not have a marker, but if you have a marker and everything like that, they'll grab it, sign it, send it back.
Because they know how important it is to you guys and people that are there, because you pay your hard-earned money, to see them. And that's the same with NHRA. Like I remember going to Bristol 05 and sitting out in front of John Force's pits in the rain almost all day just to get the chance to meet him.
Right. But that's why I was saying NHRA is different, because John Force will come up to you and talk to you if you're waiting for him.
Yeah.
They kind of shine upon you if you're waiting outside their hauler. They have those people waiting, but the thing is you have to have a pass or a special type of credential to even have that. In NHRA, your ticket is the credential for you to go. You can't go into the pit stalls and say, hey, what does this 9/16 do, this Hemi engine? You can't do that. You'll get kicked out. But did they let you you can kiss the bricks starting the line, go there, kiss it, make out with it, I don't know, fondle it, whatever. They let you just gotta watch what you're doing, and hopefully no one trips on you or anything like that. They also had a pit walk also that was like $20, but you go on the other side of the pit area, so not in the pit lane, but on the other, you get on the track. So a lot of fans you can kiss the bricks on the main track too if you want to. I did that last year. Me and Andy did. We didn't do it this year, but the cool thing was for me was seeing all the pit lane signs. They had Austin Cindric had a giraffe driving a car. Austin Dillon had a Captain America. Ross Chastain had a watermelon, obviously. A couple drivers had a banana. Somehow these NASCAR teams are obsessed with fruit, because also another one had an apple as their pit stall sign.
Okay, now here's a question, and I'm just going to bring Habo on for this because I feel like it'd be kind of a cool question to ask. So we have Habo in here on now. Sorry, it's taking a bit to get you on, but this kind of cool question that Cheech, that I want to relate here. So if you guys were a NASCAR driver, what would your pit sign be? Let's start with Cheech.
A panda bear.
Panda bear. Okay, Habo, what would your pit sign be?
This. A teacup Yorkie. Full size scale, whatever, micro 4-pound dog. I'm big and tough. I got a tiny little dog to let you know how big and tough I am.
I think mine would be a donut. Just a donut. I
do like donuts.
But it has to be a Tim Hortons donut. It can't be any other donut.
Oh, so now you're getting picky. Now this is a brand deal.
Now you gotta be sponsored by Tim Hortons.
Oh hell yeah, I'd be sponsored by Timmy Hose.
That's a dangerous sponsorship, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Get that double.
Oh, hell yeah.
We went and let me finish this off, and then we'll go straight to you after a commercial break. Hey! Anyway, we went to see the race, got some decent seats overhead, saw Bubble 1. We got the chance to pit in turn 3. So you get in underneath the tunnel and pit in there. You walk on half the road course. It was one hell of an awesome deal. Me and Josh are already talking about trying to go to St. Louis for the Illinois 300. Outside of that too, you see that they send you the turn 3 pit passes, and probably the coolest program book ever. I know you guys saw it. I'm gonna go solo screen here 1 second.
Now he's showing off.
I'm showing off. Indianapolis program book.
Raise hail, praise down.
I don't know if you guys say that you can find another program book that looks this badass. He also has on the back
That's cool.
that, and the saying goes like, "I'm glad I'm the second man that won it, if not the first." And then we got also a T-shirt that is a Dale Earnhardt T-shirt. Well, it's an Austin Cindric T-shirt, but it was honoring Dale Earnhardt, and it says, "Damn, I'm good."
He is.
There's the number 2 car in the back.
If you've watched the Earnhardt documentary, you know how damn good he is.
Yeah.
And another interesting fact that a lot of people might not know about the Brickyard 400, there's a certain driver that's his first and only win. Paul Menard.
Yep. Paul Menard. Yep, they talk about him and everything. And
fun fact, guys, I have a slight NASCAR background from my youth, which we can get into later.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
It's so random, but it's there. Rusty Wallace.
Ooh, the Blue Deuce himself.
Well, the Black Deuce.
Oh, yeah.
But you're from around that area too, with the Wallace brothers, Mike and Kenny and them. But we're gonna get into detail with you in a couple seconds. But we gotta thank a sponsor, and then we'll jump back on here. So, here and it's could probably be a friend of yours. Once again, gotta thank Kobe Marshall. Yeah, MTRC. He does our videos. He does our beginning videos. He does a lot of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. So now we're on the main stage here. The footage is awesome.
But yes.
But man, we're gonna start off here, and I see your hoodie, and how is it? I mean, you do your announcing and stuff. We'll get to it. With the toughest and how you got started. But how cool was it just doing the Bigfoot Open House, the 50th anniversary? There's only one 50th. The only other time we're going to have something cool is the 75th, and by that time we'll be on the crutches.
Last year, I mean, the first time I did it was an honor. Second year, it was crazy because I just called a Jim Cramer run. Who in our gen has gotten a call a Jim Cramer run? And then 50th comes around, interviewed Old Man, Army Armstrong came up, all the Bigfoot trucks, and just getting to introduce the living legends that, you don't know how much longer they're going to be around. They're the ones that we got a sponge off of. So, Eric Tack came up. I mean, that was by far one of the coolest events I've ever done for foot or for anyone, just because all the history going on that day. And I'm a St. Louis person. I mean, Granite City, technically Pontoon Beach down the road from Barefoot's where I grew up. But I'm all St. Louis, Granite City, Pontoon person, crazy.
The Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Fame, the Bigfoot Open House, has definitely grown a lot since, when they were doing it in their, Hazelwood shop and all that. And now look to what it's become. People are traveling from states and countries just to be there, And you mentioned, last year, doing the Jim Cramer final run. How is it announcing a Dan Runte run? Him stepping behind the wheel again to shake out the bugs on the new Bigfoot truck.
I mean, it felt like we were in the early 2000s. Once again, we're trying to get him to drive last year. Was it last year? And they did the split paint job for him, his 35th.
Yeah.
He didn't drive it, and then this year they're like, dude, that's Dan driving. I'm like, no way. So having, Guinness World Record holder, setter, the man himself, one of the best drivers to ever do it, step out on the field for one time in first time in a while was something special. On top of introducing Old Man with Kramer rolling out number 1. It was crazy. I mean, it was just the perfect day other than some light wind and rain. But the rain kind of helped due to cooling everyone off because it was warm out.
Man, and then you're calling out all that stuff. And then, we had an update with the Bigfoot Open House and how cool that is with the 50th anniversary and seeing all the different trucks and seeing everything expanded. But let's go back to Little Habo. And how did you get in the monster trucks? What was your first show, and what got you, especially in the St. Louis area?
Well, first show, St. Louis 98. I was born in 92, so I got to be 6 years old. And second show was 99 World Final 0. And I was sitting in the corner where Dennis hiked it up and saved it right in front of me as a 7.5, 8-year-old kid. That's what really hooked me, because him just barely missing that pole at the tire was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And also, I didn't realize how much of a meaningful event that was going to be as I got older. But to even kind of circle it from that, what I was saying a little bit ago of NASCAR, my mom, she was good friends with Rusty Wallace's wife, and her ex-husband was best friends with Rusty. So they ran around, and then the way the story goes, they bought Rusty's dad's old vacuum shop called OK Vac. And then they turned it into Vacuum City. My brother's dad did. All from getting it off the Wallaces. And then my brother works at R&R Enterprises and does, well, at the time, a bunch of NASCAR merchandising. They distribute all the action diecast in the 2000s. And now they primarily do late model, sprint car, and some monster truck apparel. All based out of St. Louis. So that's how we were getting tickets for these shows whenever I was a kid. And then they would take me to those.
That's pretty sick, get like having the history with the sports and being at World Final 0. Like I was talking with John Solkowski, who crews for Team Throttle now, and he was like, yeah, I recently watched that show again, and that reignited, my passion for the industry. And
yeah.
That is such an interesting event. What else do you remember about being there? And probably at the time you didn't know how significant that show was going to be, but looking back on it, how was it? How cool was it to be at that event?
Well, the standout things that really were burned into my head that I kind of want to say made me a fan for life. You had King Crunch breaking the wheel off. I was right there in that corner when it happened. Busting loose, trying to save it, walking it probably, 100 feet on its side and then rolling it. Dennis with the save. Tom and Dennis's race. I knew the final was close, but then you go back and watch the footage for real, looking back on it. The little Tiger roll over in the corner, then that was the first time I ever saw a truck run without half of a body on it. So I'm like, whoa, what's the underside of a monster? I'm 7.5, 8 years old. But there's so much going on. Thomas Ray White in Twister 2, the Tough Trucks.
Ooh.
He rolled the truck over and won the race and point series that year. I'm friends with him on Facebook now. I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, 99 World Final 0, that was awesome. I said more, but so many cool things. Because he added me, and I'm like, I know exactly who you are.
But,
26 years later.
You also are you did a lot of the RC stuff. You got into all this cool stuff, RC, MTM too. But I think you also moved for a little bit. How did you get yourself in with the toughest world?
So we'll fast forward to about 18 years old, give or take. I'm riding BMX bikes down to St. Louis trails. And there's this dude down there who goes by the name Danny Matz, also riding bikes. And I think he was still in high school. I might have just gotten – I think we're like a year and a half apart, if that. And we ride all day, have a good time, get each other's names. I go home and add him on Facebook. And he's got photos online of like him helping crew for Jimmy at the time. Like I'm talking 15, 16-year-old Danny. And I'm just like, and I'd always been a diehard super fan, all this and that. And, just watched it with scrutiny. And I'm like, hey, you mess with monster trucks? Because I had 0 monster truck friends at the time. I thought I was almost embarrassed for liking monster trucks because none of my other friends did. So I'd finally met a monster truck friend. So I'm like, this is awesome. On top of him even, having his foot in the door at the time. And we always kind of stayed tight. And fast forward, he started taking me to some shows just to hang out, like Springfield, Illinois, those fairgrounds, like in 2017. First show he took me to was 2015, Memphis, Tennessee. I got the freestyle, or judge freestyle at a Monster Jam show as Tom Mintz in an arena show. So that was cool, And then with Toughest, the way it kind of filled out, I was just same thing. Hey, Bigfoot's in town. Go hang out. Or they put a camera in Bigfoot's trailer if Danny couldn't make the show. And I would go film for Bigfoot with Bigfoot's equipment just to have an in, just to come hang out. They might give me a T-shirt and a green light collectible. And even that was more than enough. I would have done anything for free. And that would have been 2017 whenever they started giving me their camera gear because I moved to Denver in 2017. And it was kind of for the better because there's more monster truck events out in my region versus St. Louis and a couple of the little venues out here. So it kind of put me in position to do more things with Toughest. And then COVID hit, like once I was really starting to get in with it. Like I still wasn't hired or employed with Toughest yet. I was just like happy to be here. Every year in Loveland, they knew I'd be there. And COVID hit, shows stopped. I bought a 360 camera to do real estate walkthrough tours because I was selling luxury apartment rentals in downtown Denver. And he was like, hey, bring that camera to a show. Like, let's see if it can do something. And we discovered 360 camera track filming. So technically I was the first one to bring that aspect into the monster truck world. I took it to the skate park and did some things with it. But, Colton Kaiser, he's the man. I see him in the comments. Pit Crew Paulie, also the man. But started bringing this 360 camera aspect, and they were new at the time, so the footage was a little grainy. But I remember people getting butt hurt because they thought we had filmers on the track because they didn't know what we were using yet. You see someone like a footage on a moto mound directly on a track, but there's no footage of a person on the track. How are they getting this angle? It looks like a transponder out on the track. It doesn't look like a 360 camera. And, people didn't know what they were yet. So that kind of gave me something to do at Toughest, where I'm like, hey, I'm doing stuff no one else is doing. This is creative. So it gave them a reason to kind of have me around. And I'll say there was one show, it's like Loveland, probably 2021, when it was Blue and Flame Power Wheels Bigfoot or whatever. Kelly, the owner of Toughest, I was sharing a room with Danny because he was generous enough to share rooms with me at the time. Now, not so much because it's like 2 freight trains going past each other because we snore so bad. Kelly just goes, hey, here's $100 for Habo. And I'm like, what? Like, fuck, cool. Like, no way, And that meant the world at the time. So, that was sweet. And then there was one show. This is kind of when it started to lead into something more. I started driving around on my own dollar to show them that I was kind of like dedicated to being with Toughest. So 6 hours to Rio Rancho, head north to Casper. So living in Denver, I'm right in that lane to hit all those shows. And was doing that. And Scott Heaton almost couldn't get a flight into Casper because of how bad the winds are out there. I'm sure if you guys have driven through, you know how bad Wyoming
arena's on top of a hill.
It's like a giant Pizza Hut on top of a hill. But Brad, if you've ever seen it, look it up. It looks like a huge Pizza Hut.
What arena is this?
Casper, Wyoming.
Rio Rancho Events Center, and tickets are actually on sale, $5 off until Sunday.
Get that plug in.
Yeah, yes, sir. Toughest Monster Truck Tour. We out here. But weather was awful. And they're kind of like getting all anxious, like, well, who's going to host a show? And once again, Danny goes, well, Habo announces BMX shows and contests all the time. He could do it. So they come to me and they're like, hey, if Scott doesn't make it in, can you do this? And I'm like, it'll be choppy, but we can get through it. And they're like, walking out to all that, this many people doesn't intimidate you. I'm like, no, that's whatever. It's just put my own spin on it and just not knowing the product yet. Like, I've watched it, but you can watch it a million times, but until you do it, you don't know how it's going to go because it's you doing it, Yeah. Because I could say, do you want 20 more times like Scott Heaton does, but it's going to get, and also just having Scott Heaton as a coach is the coolest thing ever. He doesn't hold back. He might come off a little abrasive, but as long as you know how to work with that, he'll build you to be the best person.
And I feel like,
in my eyes, I like him.
And I feel like that's like a lot of the old school announcers, like, kind of a cool moment this weekend. Scott Douglas was there in Edmonton, and just being around him, and how I like just the history, and Scott Heaton's another one of those amazing announcers with an iconic voice, and that's just how those guys are. They learned it in the early days, and now yourself and so many others are taking that torch and kicking ass with it like you are. And how was that first show for you? Did Scott end up making it for that first show, or did you have to announce that show?
So he made it that night. I didn't host it all that night. I was, getting a little nervous, starting to think about it. So fast forward to the following season, Manson hits me up 5 or maybe a week and a half before Rio Rancho. And he's like, so you'll be joining us on tour this year? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to. What's up? And to do some co-hosting. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, Rio Rancho's coming around. We're 3 days out. I'm like, yo, no one sent me a flight. No one said anything. Am I doing this? So I didn't get Rio Rancho. But after they all met up and got to see each other, they gave me half of the tour in 2022. Because 23, 24, 25. Yeah, this will be my third full year, fourth actual year coming up. But they tried me out for half the tour and started doing the co-hosting. Scott's still the main announcer, but I kind of crack the jokes, color commentator, hand out all the trophies. Scott's the voice of God. I'm the one you get to hang out with and kind of, I'm the high five guy. Scott stays down in his corner and is the voice of God in the building, which it's perfect. He loves doing that, and I'm okay with talking with people. So, like, hey, we're up in the stands. We're doing lucky PBRC giveaways. So, I'm the guy in the stands or handing out trophies. But I will say, in Loveland 2022, they're like, you're going to go do intros, the national anthem spiel, start the show. You're going to announce the show. Let's see what you got. Man, I went out there and bombed. I got lost. I just wasn't ready, but they wanted to see what I can do. And they found out. Scott ended up doing the rest of the show, and which definitely 100% should have, because I was just not there yet as a monster truck host. I was used to doing BMX shows where you're kind of just barking and calling stuff at the, riders. This, you're more hosting, presenting, letting them do their thing, and then segueing, and you can't really talk over a monster truck. And I was trying to do that. So I just, wasn't ready for that. And now we kind of have our rhythm set up. So I'll do the freestyle moto, quad wars, all the pit party fan interactions. And then once the show starts, big man Scott Heaton enters the room, and it's awesome. I will warm up with Colby Marshall's RC footage. I'm like, before doors open, I'm like, Colby, let me get some Moonbase stuff. And I'll just start blabbing to that, in like the arenas and stuff.
Man, so it's kind of a hype man, pretty much, kind of like what you have at hockey games and baseball stadiums, where you have your main host, but you got a guy like you going, hey, we're gonna do, guess that monster truck here, and then give you 10 seconds to guess this truck. You pretty much are gonna tell the little kid the answer. It's Dirt Crew. Okay. Dirt Crew. Here's a
so
truck.
Cut dry, but
Same thing.
like
but you're being a hype man.
That, like, giveaways.
you're being a hype man like you see at a national hockey game or a baseball game, pretty much. Not the main
Exactly.
announcer,
Yep.
but you're with the crowd, you're mingling, you're doing all the stuff that later on, and if they come back next year and see you, they know, hey, that guy just talked to me and stuff like that. And but with you doing that, do you still pick Scott Heaton's brain to get more comfortable on doing what he does, more studying about the equipment, trying to get your transition
all the
right, not
time.
interrupt and all that stuff? Do you do that too?
Yeah, or he'll come up to me and be like, "Hey, this is what I noticed." And I remember the last one he told me, he's like, "Your exits are too long." So like basically, whenever I'm bringing Jerry Beck out to the track, I need to do that big sell about how he's 2-time defending champ, yada yada, one and only Jerry Beck. Let's go. But instead, what I was doing, I would do that at the end. So instead of letting Jerry have his moment, let the crowd clap and say, "Get loud, Jerry Beck," which is what I do now. I was saying all those accolades as I'm telling them to get loud and talking with the applause. So that's one thing I learned. And then I actually gave Scott some crap because we had an excited freestyle motocross rider. He's awesome, Zach DiPaolo, he's the man. But he did this thing where he took the mic and started talking on his own. And I hear in my headset, "Never give the mic away, never give the mic away." And I'm just like, oh, man. And then at Virginia Beach 2 months ago, Scott gave the mic away to John Gordon, which is fine. It's Scott. You can do whatever he wants. But I come up to him, I'm like, "Scott, what'd you give the mic away for, dude? You're not supposed to do," and, we're laughing about it. But yeah, no, I pay attention with it. And at first, like, with the 360 camera on the track, it records everything, even audibly. So like I took Scott Heaton's like vocals and transcribed it and almost built out a script that I can mold my own off of whenever it does get to that point, so I can practice. Because obviously I'm not going to do what he does cut dry, but I have the order of delivery on how he does the show, in case, hey, flight doesn't make it, I can go out there and try to swim a little bit better,
Well, and you're also getting some practice doing the BMX events, because I know you're a huge BMX guy, and we'll get into that because I love old school BMX, like X
Let's
Games.
get into it now.
Yes, might as well get into it now. Another big aspect of your social media is BMX. You ride, you announce, you host. Talk about how you got into that. You mentioned you met Donnie Moss at a trail in St. Louis. Talk about just the whole BMX side.
So I'd started riding whenever I was 13, but we'll save the whole speed bumps, ride around the trailer park stuff. I've been a sponsored rider since I was 19 years old. I'm 32 now. I ride for Tree Bicycle Co. There's this company, Nowhere, that just did a frame for me. And just knowing people in the industry, just how we know people in the monster truck industry. We all have friends in different places in the country. And it kind of doubles down. So first and foremost, rider, film, post clips, whatever, for the brands I represent. And then I also sell some parts for the company I ride for. So I'm getting into sales with that. And then I'm running my own contest series as well. So it just kept spiraling. I was at a contest that I couldn't really ride the jumps that well because they're out of my league, because I'm more known for technical riding. And this one homie, Andy Chapman, the older guy, he was like, "Hey, try announcing." And that was like the first time I'd ever tried it. And it was like, he comes up and hands me like a Miller High Life and says, "Hey, go chug this behind the tree and come back. You sound stiff." And I came back and lit that place up. But it kind of, spiraled into both. But the hilarity is, doing monster truck events now, people think I'm more legit at BMX events because those aren't in stadiums and arenas.
Yeah.
So they really scratch each other's back. And even if you're a promoter booking me, I might be in a BMX van in your area, so you don't have to spend on travel for me to get there, because I kind of use each other to scratch each other's back, with me moving around the country. So like Monsters on the Beach, I was 2 hours north, just wrapped up a bike show. Guess where we're going this weekend? Monsters on the Beach, So that's how I use those to kind of complement each other. And then also to segue back to Toughest briefly, I've also been helping coordinate all the PR stuff with the radio stations, the news networks, and I execute all the public relations stuff. So announcing or hosting, but on TV and whatnot. It's a fun program. Or just going to the radio stations and the news channels, but
I was about to say, right lately before you did the Bigfoot open house, you were doing a lot of stuff with BMX, and still, having Bigfoot rely on you and trust you for being the main announcer for their open house, that gotta be ecstatic, especially for the 50th anniversary.
Oh yeah, I mean, I flew in. I did a show Friday morning in Baltimore, a BMX show. Hopped on a plane, flew to St. Louis. My brother lives 20 minutes from Bigfoot shop. Had my brother pick me up, took his daughter's car over to Foots, did Foots, flew out Sunday morning, back to doing bike shows on Monday morning. So like my full-time job is a BMX show person, or I work for a company called Stunt Masters, and we do shows for elementary schools. I just did one today. It was a after-school summer latchkey program down in Virginia Beach. So I was literally at the Monsters on the Beach venue this morning at the hotel, and then did one at a school maybe 15 minutes away this morning. Then I was thinking about going to Charlotte this weekend because it's about 4 hours out of the way. So I might hit that. But once again, bike. What do you mean what's going on with Charlotte?
Back to school bash, my friend.
And
there's a bunch of ornery monster truckers in town, dude.
Yeah, and friggin' Tim Hall is bringing the Zoomies back. So
I thought that thing's in August. That's the reason why I was like, because it's July. School starts already in July. That's crazy.
I mean, schools are starting. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife.
When I was at school, it was August or after Labor Day.
My wife starts teaching at the end of next month, at the end of August, so it's coming up quick.
Yeah, and, but I'm used to that.
I've heard some schools in August.
Yeah, I'm used to back to school bash in August, not in July. Or maybe I'm just out of the loop.
But
that's still like one of the coolest events.
Yeah,
it is.
Potentially might do that. I also have to get back home in Denver because I'm running my own BMX contest series at all the dirt jump locations in the state. So I have a pallet of Oscar Blues brewery beer showing up at the house on Monday morning. I got to pick up, or at least accept for delivery and whatnot because they're sponsoring the event. But I promote and organize my own BMX series on top of doing everything I can. Yeah, monster trucks and bikes full time.
Yeah, I understand, Kurt. It's the beginning of August, but it's the end of January. End of July. I can't even pronounce the month. It's end of July though. So yeah, it's barely July. But it's the middle of the summer. That's what my point's getting at. It's like the beginning of it's still the middle of summertime. You're supposed to have fun. Summer. When I was a kid, you're supposed to circle that. You know what I mean? The summertime. Ride your BMX. Ride your dirt bike. Do everything like that.
Go to the back to school bash. All that stuff.
Not going to back to school bash and then going back to school.
Yeah, right.
But I want to nerd out on a little bit of BMX because I we all grew up in the era of the X Games. Dave Mira, one of the best. Another rider that people might not know, the Canadian Beast, Jay Miron, one of the best vert riders back in the day. What did you watch? Did you watch like a lot of more park street back in the day, or dirt vert? Like, what was your kind of thing back in the day that kind of got you into bikes?
What got me into bikes, of course, X Games, Gravity Games, all the old stuff. The guy I work for, John Parker, he is the X Games vert medalist, rode for GT for a long time. But I would say I've always watched the skate park stuff, and I lived and thrived in skate parks and legitimately did live in a skate park at one time in my life. But skate parks, you kind of learn your fundamentals, and then you take it out elsewhere. So say if I see a spot that I was riding at the skate park, I can apply what I did here over there. But I always like more creative riding. That's what I've always been known for. So trying to jam a bunch of little weird tricks into places they shouldn't be versus like, I don't know, I've seen dudes out flail themselves off of ramps respectfully, but then they can't do a manual for 10 feet. So it goes both ways. I can't flail myself off of ramps the way I like, but I can do all the other stuff a lot of other people can't do. And I'm a big guy, so that's kind of like my shtick. you know, because a lot of big dudes shouldn't be doing stuff on a little bike to begin with. So,
Hey, I've seen your videos and you do an awesome job. But we actually have a fan question for you. It's Kevin. That's
what we
Kevin.
got?
He asked for you, not us. Uh, what's your favorite BMX rider of all time, and what's your favorite monster truck driver of all time, and how are they similar?
Favorite BMX rider would have to be like Eric Elstrand or Chris Kyle. And
There's Kyle. He's good.
it'd have to be someone creative. I'd say maybe like Damon Bradshaw, because he came into monster trucks and looked at it differently and progressed it instead of just hitting the gas and figuring it out. You know, like it's possible to finesse these things. And I feel like up until he got into the game, no one, I don't want to say a lot of monster truck drivers weren't like top tier athletes, but you know, a lot of them weren't. You know, they're just good old
the
boys with
closest
some
driver
trucks
was Jimmy
and started
Creedon.
to figure it out.
Before Damon Bradshaw,
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Creedon was probably the only one that was kind of finessing and being technical with his freestyle instead of just hammering the gas and everything like that.
Well, you look
And
at
what was his background again?
Jimmy or
What was it?
Damon?
Jimmy Creedon.
Oh,
Yeah, what was his background?
I think
I
he
knew-
was like.
Athletically speaking.
I don't think he had an athletically
He
background.
was a
but he wasn't-
bodybuilder. That's
I know he
about it.
is. I know he is Mr. Kansas. You know,
Yeah,
if we want to
he
go
was-
down that road.
He was a bodybuilder, and he was also got a degree at Purdue or somewhere like that. But
Yeah.
outside, but I mean, he was trying to be finesse, but Damon Bradshaw took that and took a ball and ran with it, and everyone else tried to keep up with Damon. That's that. But before Damon, the closest guy I would say that was trying to be like that was Creedon.
Yeah, because when Damon came in, he had that supercross, motocross background, right? So he had a different way of thinking about. Okay, I can take this jump this way. If I tap the brakes, it'll settle the truck down.
That tapping the brake deal was like the best things to sliced bread.
Oh,
everyone
100%.
talked about that.
But think of how simple it is, but yet revolutionary to the monster truck world.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a lot of dudes coming in. And, like, I'm sure they figure it out over time. But, like I said, there's not too many crossover people that come from action sports that can have that outside understanding to apply to a new platform
What was
or machine.
Cam McQueed's background prior to the Nitro Circus stuff? Because he was a Nitro guy. Wasn't he with the Nitro Circus crew?
He was a Nitro guy. I think he just did stuff. I don't think he was like he rode dirt bikes, but I don't think he was.
From what I remember, he worked at OGO behind the scenes, from what I remember. And then that's how he got linked with Travis, and then started doing the stunts. But one thing you mentioned, Habo, you like to add a lot of tricks in one. Another rider that was like that was Scotty Kramer. That he is still one of my all-time favorite riders. And he was really kind of like, you see all these action sports people doing YouTube. He was kind of one of the first to really capitalize on that back in the day with his YouTube channel. Then, unfortunately, 2016, he had his unfortunate accident, which left him paralyzed, but now he's able to walk and starting to regain stuff. But like his video parts, my God, like that guy could tail whip in a cardboard box if you asked him to.
Oh, he had all the tricks, all the finesse. But that's the product of growing up and your parents owning a bike shop and a skate park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you're done with school, do your homework, you're out on a mini ramp, you're in a foam pit. Like, that's one of those unique athletes that we probably won't ever have again. But, now it's time for the next gen, whether it's trucks, bikes, or whoever, But no, Scotty on the YouTube, that's what's kept him hopeful. If it wasn't for that YouTube and everything else, and us following his journey and keeping him motivated, because a lot of people have accidents. I'm sure we all have friends that's went through life-changing things like that, and unfortunately they do turn to suicide sometimes because they're not, they don't have outlets or people to support them. They're just kind of sitting in a chair somewhere, and that's a wrap. So No, that YouTube has been the best thing for Scotty since that accident.
And his his brother absolutely rips on a bike too. Matty,
Maddie's cool.
I've seen the video of him doing basically a kickflip on his bike today, and like
the new flip.
That's ridiculous. Like they're doing
it's a front
games.
brake trick. Yeah, if you tap the front both brakes, it stops the rotational weight from spinning, so the bike can spin. The bars won't turn while it's spinning.
Whew.
You know, back to brake tapping. Just tapping the brakes. Yeah, physics. Just tap it in.
Tap.
Yeah, no, bikes it's freestyle all the way around. Whether it's like, you know, who has the coolest wheelie, and did you do a backflip? Whether it's giant trucks or bikes, you know. Ooh, Kevin Robinson. I did shows with his kid like 3 weeks ago. K-Rob Jr. is very cool. Yeah, I saw a pair of Kevin Robinson's knee pads in a museum yesterday. Kevin,
have you ever talked to Kelly and them to have somewhat of BMX in the toughest store?
Like it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It just, one, bikes are too small for those sizes of buildings, and you have to lay down a bunch of plywood. You need a golf cart ramp that needs to be set up in 2 minutes out, or 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. Because I have a couple airbags that I use for shows, and I'm like, hey, 15 minutes up, 15 minutes down. And he's like, no. You know, maybe if it was like an outdoor pit party area with concrete, sure. Just like how Micah does with the Vision at Monster Jam, which has also allowed me to pop up at some Monster Jam events because I'll have friends out there riding. I'll text Micah, and he's like, yeah, go do whatever. So if you see me pop up at Monster Jam events, it's because of hanging out with the Division BMX crew.
Well,
and just knowing those guys.
You brought your 360 cam to some of the Monster Jam events, and you had a really cool shot. You're walking kind of by the backflip ramp, and that was so cool.
Yeah. One, thank you. And two, I didn't have permission to do any of that. Basically, after the pit party was done, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to go nerd out and do my thing. And they're like, well, where were you sitting? I'm like, I'm not going to be sitting. Just, you probably won't see me till after the show. Some building security was getting butthurt at me because I had, it's a 9-foot pole. So he's like, he was just kind of trying to power trip over me. And he's like, you don't have a media credential. And I'm like, I literally have this, and this says I can do whatever. And then he went back and got his boss, and he told me some more things. I'm like, well, here, I'm going to make this easy. And I just went somewhere else, and then I didn't have issues for the rest of the night. But I did that. That was at East Rutherford. And then the Denver one, I was in town for the weekend, thankfully, or at home for the weekend. And kind of just use bikes to allow me to do monster truck things in that area. I did say what's up to the announcers and whatnot, but they a little too cool for school,
Yeah.
I'm like, I host shows too, and they're like, yeah, dude, cool.
But they have no idea what they're into. They read the script over and over again because they failed in something else that they couldn't do.
Yeah. Well,
just saying,
and I got
because they get picked up. They get picked up by a agency that say, hey, we got this thing that's opened for tryouts. Oh, I'll do it. You know how Monster Truck is? No.
Well,
but I'm gonna do it anyway.
They want oral communications majors. They don't want people from the lifestyle that live it, breathe it. They want people that can deliver a show. In 2019, right before COVID, I actually drove out to Chicago and did those tryouts. I read like a paragraph and a half in front of Scott Douglas and this other guy named Mike, not an announcer guy, some dude named Mike with Monster Jam. This was 6 years ago, older, fat guy, not Mike Hogwood, not any of those guys. I've never seen him before in my life, some operations guy. But I read about a paragraph and a half, and they're like, yeah, that's all we need to see today. You're good. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm good? And they're like, oh, you can go home. Like, that's all. It was like American Idol for monster truck announcers. And I'm talking all of the people in the lineup look like news anchors. I'm talking nice press suits, comb over hair, most perfect teeth you ever seen. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, Well, I'm from Pontoon Beach. I actually know monster trucks. I might have a shot. I don't give a shit, dude. So I don't know. There's just no soul or culture to it. They're doing a job and they do good at it. Scott Jordan doing the Inside Monster Jam is tasteful, but during the shows, I mean, I was watching the live stream and every time it was like, how do you feel? It was the same 4 questions every time, So, yeah, I don't know. Then Jerry Beck told me this thing. Jerry's been very insightful on tour for the past couple of years. Supposedly he's writing a book and whatnot.
Sure, he would be writing a book.
Well, I want to make an AI book and put a mock cover on it and say,
should be called "Let's Go Get Ice Cream."
Exactly.
No. I got the name.
But
The Ice Cream Chronicles.
The Ice Cream
Yeah,
Chronicles.
honestly. I just remember him saying, he's like, if someone's talking to you, don't just nod the whole time because that means you're too agreeable. Shake your head no a little bit instead of just nodding. So, like, I'll do that to just mess with people. But if you watch the Monster Jam host, just that neck is on swivel, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I watch it and critique it, but it's not my job. They're just doing their job,
See,
but we're all watching the same show.
My neck's usually on a swivel just because I'm rocking out playing drums. That's the only reason, or I'm just head banging.
Yeah, right.
I'm a music nerd, so.
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know, the creative freedom I have with Toughest to, I did trading cards. I don't know if I sent you one.
Yeah,
or
I saw those, and the trading card, like
this one.
The trading cards are an addiction, and this is proof why.
There we go.
I have 90% of these are supposed to go into Cheech. All these are Ryan Blaney.
Yes.
But
I have, like, not even joking, numbered Richard Petty. I also have an auto Richard Petty card as well.
Oh, did you see the new Pedini? I forget the company name.
No, I need to see. I need to see if they have it at my local card shop.
My local card shop got a hobby grade box of it. It's $125 US for it.
Dude.
It's 3 autograph, and 2 uniform cards in the pack, the hobby grade pack for $125. I'm thinking about getting it.
Dude, do it. One cool thing, Habo, is you got to introduce the debut of a truck I designed in Monster Patrol 30 with Austin Tweedy.
Wow,
that's same night rollover.
At the time, that was, dude, I was so nerded out on the inside. I'm like, dude, I'm debuting a Monster Patrol right now. And that was like my first full year, maybe second full year. But yeah, I didn't know you designed that because we were all at the banquet the night before, after everyone left. We're all down there with our heads underneath the tarp, like, holy crap, this looks good. Because, some people on tour are a little pessimistic and we're like, oh, it's probably going to look like crap. Oh, it's going to be stupid.
Sounds like
and we stuck our heads under there, nail on the head. And he's like, oh, no, they did good.
well, and like, if so, my rule of thumb, if I'm designing a truck that has an old school name, I did this with Stomper, I did this with Mod Patrol, I did this with Carolina Crusher. My rule of thumb is make it look modern, but keep homage to the original. Stomper, I wanted the plan was make it look like they pulled the body out of the weeds and just slapped it on the truck. Monster Patrol 30 is to honor the heritage and legacy of that truck, but bring it in. And the cool thing is, Austin was like, do whatever. Like, just make it look like Monster Patrol. Do whatever.
What was your idea of Carolina Crusher?
You did that.
Carolina Crusher was similar because I feel that scheme, I think it was technically Carolina Crusher 3 is what I based it off of.
Short-lived.
Yeah, it was very short-lived. And that was the reason why I wanted to bring it back, because not a lot of people got to experience that scheme in person, right? And that's the reason why I designed that the way it did. And that was the same thing. Cameron was like, do whatever. And those are my favorite types of design things. Like, give like maybe a little bit of direction, but then just let me take it and roll with it. Still to this day, Monster Patrol 30 is one of my favorite schemes I ever did.
Well, I have a piece of it at my house.
Oh, hell yeah.
and then my buddy has the right rear that has the little sheriff on it, but mine is the right front, like Fen wheel well, where the wheel well meets the door.
Yeah.
So I do have that at the house. Did you get any at all?
No, I didn't. See, I don't have any pieces of any truck I designed. The one that still miffs me to this day is I never got a piece of the bad boy Bigfoot I did, the third with the hot rod flames. I never got a piece of that.
Yeah.
I only got 2 shirts and 2 diecast toys. That was it. That's all I got out of that.
Sounds
Still,
about right.
Like that was still cool to me, but like hopefully one day I'll have a piece of the trucks I've designed, because that'd be really freaking cool. But I just think that was really cool that you were there and got to help debut that. Like that was, and like you really like you made that moment big and special. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. That's thank you. I mean, I had no idea you were the guy that did that, and we're sitting there drooling over the thing, you know. And then we couldn't wait to take the tarp off, and you know, same thing. Monster Patrol was at the first 2 shows I went to. You know, '98 St. Louis and '99 World Finals. So Monster Patrol means a lot to a lot of people. You know, that was like one of the first other fan favorites besides Gravedigger in the late '90s to 2000s early. But no, that's awesome. Then I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. That was like the first cool thing where I'm just like, man, monster trucks are tight. Like that was awesome. You know. But it rolled first corner, hot out the gate.
I messaged Austin. I'm like, dude, why? Why did you
that
do
dirt
this?
is the tackiest dirt, and even in Beam, whoever makes those Grand Forks tracks is spot on, because that dirt sucks in the sense of it being sticky. It's not loose. Even the most seasoned guys will get hung up on that tacky dirt, and you know they hadn't run with us. They didn't know. They'd never been to Grand Forks. So he's just trying to drive a truck the way he always did. But one comedic thing that I did see out of all of it. One, it was a bummer when it rolled because it's a beautiful truck. But then it meant it could just go do whatever, and it doesn't matter anymore. But there was footage. It might have been Austin, the bigger Tweety, big, tall one, kind of thick. But they were doing little iPhone vlogs, and they put it on YouTube. And that Tritino was sitting up on the balcony.
Was it Austin Spence?
Yeah, I think it was Spence. Yeah. Yeah, not a Tweety, my bad. But they were all running around together for a bit. Monster Patrol rolls. He films it, and it's just right down in front of him. And he pans it to Tritino. And, man, just the blank look of defeat on his face was kind of comical. You know, I don't know the guy, but I'm just like, did a lot of work for to make one hit and turn, you know. But it's name of the game. One hit wonder. That was a fun weekend. I think that was my first time working a Grand Forks event. I had did cameras the year before, but I was actually hosting that year. So that was pretty cool. And I was nervous. Colby did a killer video on the Jumbotron. Oh, yeah, the whole thing was awesome. But yeah, Monster Patrol sweet. That was like my first RC car. And I painted it with regular spray paint, so it just cracked. You probably remember seeing this monstrosity, Cheech, back in like 2016. Whenever I first got a SMT-10 Monster Patrol. Oh, yeah, dude. That thing was – I knew nothing. I could drive, but I didn't know how to paint them or anything tasteful. Well, even then, I need to pay somebody to do a body.
jconcepts.net to get 15% off if you type in Crush This.
Get that plug.
Yes, sir. There we go.
Get that plug.
Dustin Parks. Does Dustin Parks have any questions or anyone else in the comments? Because I see Dustin saying all these great things. He did offer me to come help be the auctioneer at Hall of Fame this year. We'll see if it happens, if I can make it out.
Here.
Just helping.
When you're at shows during the toughest card, do you find time to ride your bike before or after the show?
Whenever I first started, I would go out and try to ride the monster truck obstacles. Like, maybe go out and try to do a tire tap on a crush car. I would do a foot jam whip on top of the moto mound, then drop in, ride down the moto mound, even though there's giant chunks of dirt that could just like wash my front wheel out. and whatnot. So yeah, but on busy weekends, now that I'm doing more of the PR stuff at the radios and the news networks, waking up at 4 a.m. to be in the lobby at 4:30, to be at the venue at 5, to be on air at 6. I'm not too anxious to ride my bike anymore, especially coming off of probably a week of bike shows, going into a 2 to 3 show monster truck weekend. Will I ever climb to the top of Cajun Dome again? Well, fun fact, Sean Green, I did not do it the first time. I gave Danny my camera and said, go have fun, take a photo, because I am not touching that. I'm a land mammal, guys. I don't like heights. I can't swim. Yep. I can roll around on some wheels, but I'll get too high off the ground.
And just so people know, this was the Carolina Crusher we were talking about. That one right there.
Ooh, yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. The
chrome on the grill is good.
Yeah, and the stripe on the side there on the bed, that was just an idea that I had to kind of modernize it a little bit, kind of have a different flavor to it. But that one's still like, I know the Carolina Crusher logo isn't the exact same, but I try to replicate it as good as I could.
But then again, you try to modernize it and it looks good.
Oh yeah. Question I have for Habo. What is some of your favorite tricks to do or watch people perform at shows or whatever?
I personally, foot jam whips and hang fives have always been like my claim to fame. I do foot jam to bar spins on flat. A lot of people, it like boggles their brain whenever they see me do it. Yeah, see, you're making the face too.
Because like knowing BMX like I do, like foot jam to what?
Yeah, foot jam to just bar spin on flat. Yeah. In like the same amount, like a hop up and out of the foot jam and mid hop off the foot jam. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's crazy.
I'm fast, dude. During shows, I mean, same thing. I kind of hold down the flat ground effects. I like 360 and stuff. Go fast, spin a 360, because you're blind half the jump and then you spot it and you're like, cool. Or you realize you went too fast or not fast enough. And then you're like, well, that's not cool. Yeah. So for bikes, yeah, I tried. They're pretty separate, but both my worlds are combined. I don't know. I feel like I'm living the dream, and they complement each other to make it all work.
Man,
okay.
Is there any social media people can follow you at?
Well, my social is just the Habo, TheHabo, and I mean, there's companies I ride for, Tree Bicycle Co. I do all the Instagram on Toughest Monster Truck Tour. We had a video get 4 million plays this past year. That was all your boy holding that down. Danny and Colby do the Facebook, but anything that's Instagram, that's me on Toughest. So if you DM us, it's probably just me twiddling my thumbs, hanging out, thinking about monster trucks somewhere. And yeah, I do have 3/4 of the lineup for Toughest this year.
Oh no!
If you guys want to hear monster truck things,
sure.
Yeah, let's get the inside scoop here.
Well, there's only 2 spots basically. I messaged Kelly earlier. I'm like, hey, I'm talking to the boys on Crush This. Anything I should plug, talk about, mention, not mention. Basically the Rio Rancho $5 discount until Sunday. Let's see. Another event will be going on sale the week of August 11th with more to come. And then Dirt Crew, Jerry Beck, of course, Blockhead Darren, Maximus, Jared Smith, and then, of course, Dozer and Dave Olfert, and then 2 new trucks yet to be announced.
So it's going to be the DCT show.
Yeah, yes and no. But basically, yeah. I assume the Gross aren't coming back. I can't confirm that, but last year was a fun time hanging out with them, but just
that's weird that Tim Jones is not doing it.
Well, there might be reason for that. Like I said, I've yet to confirm the second 2 trucks, but those are supposed to be announced. I would assume if it was
Twisted
him,
Addiction
it
and
would
Big
just be on
Dog.
the roster like normal. But you know, whenever you tap walls and whatnot, you're not the most favorite person. You know, great guy, but
I think with all this ice cream talk, Jerry Beck needs to get the name for Ice Cream Man and just run that. That would be
just double scooped up all the time.
Yeah,
Double scoop chocolate chip.
And by the way, Dustin Parks, there's no time of the year that makes eggnog any good. Okay, stop that BS talk of eggnog in here.
We haven't banned anyone in Crush This, and you're getting close. One more talk, Dustin Parks, and you're getting banned with your neon socks.
This is a no nog zone, okay? Like we don't
Yeah, dude.
No, we're fighting. I know where you live, Eastern Pennsylvania, and I'm gonna put a
You better watch
flag.
out next time I see you, Dustin.
I'm gonna throw knuckles and elbows, Dustin. I'm going to Walmart and I'm gonna put a Canadian flag in there saying this is for Brad.
This is a no nog.
I'm gonna knock all the sequins off your suit, Dustin. See what you just did? Now everyone's upset.
No pumpkin spice or pumpkin pie zone either. Okay.
I will Tanya Harding you and make Habo do the Hall of Fame. You won't be able. You'll be screaming, "My knee, my knee!"
Yeah, and I'll even stutter the whole time.
Yeah, stutter. One more time, Dustin. We're on to you.
Hey, Dustin and Mark did help out at open house, though. Mark was having a good time out there. He called some old school. Dustin called the last run of Earthquake. You know, there's some cool things going. You were right there with us, Cheech.
Yeah, Mark's gonna do the stunt, the flame stunt in front of the Boss Gator truck.
What do you mean the flame stunt?
The flame stunt. They made a wall of flame, like the superstar star. It's called Circus of the Stars back in the early 90s. And they put a guy sitting on the front of a monster truck, and they drove into the wall together.
They're not.
And then, they did. And the dude gets shit whipped. Coming, the Jimmy's driving the truck around. It goes a corner too fast. And the driver's like,
the dangerous move wasn't even that. The dangerous move wasn't even the stunt. It was what Brad said. When you whipped it around, you see the guy going like this.
Oh yeah. What's it called again, Cheech? I'll send it to Habo.
The Circus of the Stars.
Wow. Did you guys see that one video of the Australian guy that would like hang on to the axle housings underneath and let it drag him around on the grass and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a little too close. For sure.
I'm trying to find it here. Is it the one that Hulk Hogan hosted? Rest in peace, Hulk.
No, I got it right here. I have it on.
You just have it always ready to go.
Yes. Yeah, I have it.
Like Cheech showed me it last week, and I'm like, dude, the dude just gets absolutely whipped around on the front. It's ridiculous.
It's funny though.
So you're saying the show needs it or not?
The show always needs a fire stunt.
Yeah.
Does this happen overseas or over here?
No, it was in Hollywood.
Oh.
It was in Florida at Universal Studios. Everything in the 90s always happened at Universal.
Wow.
But here, I
have a barefoot fun fact that people may not know.
Ooh, okay.
One night, one of the bears got out and ate his pet deer.
Wait, what?
Like it went over the top of the cage into the neighboring cage, and it just ate his pet deer one night. This is like deep Pontoon Beach lore, because that's where I grew up.
So how far was Granite City from there?
Up the street. Like I would ride my bike from Pontoon up the road probably a mile. Like I'm talking the Walmart in town is in Granite. You just cross one set of train tracks. It would take me 20 minutes to ride my bike to downtown Granite from Pontoon Beach. And that's a husky boy on a 20-inch bicycle. So we're not moving too fast. But yeah, no, I basically grew up in a hotbed of monster trucks, and I didn't realize why I liked them so much until got older. And then obviously you guys are over there in Champaign. I went to Indianapolis 04, 05 as a kid. That was cool. Tom Meents just rolling that thing and racing like 2.5 times.
Are you still looking for a Cheech?
Nope, found it. I just gotta.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Oh man.
Are you ready to see some of the coolest footage ever?
I'm pitching this to someone. Someone's got to bring it back.
It takes more courage to live life to its fullest than to roll over and die.
Well, that's obviously your philosophy, Doug, because we all know that on the very day you were nominated for both Male Vocalist of the Year
and this dude's a country singer.
Country Music Awards,
I was gonna say, you look like the dude from the meme, or not meme, but the movie where it's like the slick back hair and the fake teeth.
Well, I know, Terry, but I've got all this protective clothing. I've got Todd who's told me everything I need to do. And even though I know it's dangerous, I'm really
might as well end off the podcast with a bang, eh, Cheech?
Yeah, we got one more commercial left, but that was about it.
This is low IQ activity for the guy on the hood. He's like, I want to be famous so bad. I'm going to sit on the hood of a monster truck and go through a wall.
Look at the smoke coming out of the back of the truck.
Well, how do you think testing went?
Or
they just didn't.
I think there's no testing involved. I think there's a lot of beer and vodka involved in this.
Just him on the hood.
Or some other substances.
It's like, man, Unnamed and Untamed looks different. He used to sit in the hood, not on the hood. What truck is it?
Ball skater.
He got handles to hold on to.
But now watch as he's turning around.
He's all right, so we know that that's the most important thing tonight. But if your screen lit up at home, I can guarantee you it lit up here.
All right, Brad, I got a job for you.
What?
It's going to involve a truck and a hood.
Do it for Jimmy. Now watch after this commercial. Oh, not after this commercial, but after this highlight. Watch how he gets whipped around. He said actually the guy did that we did an interview a few weeks ago said he actually hurt his neck.
Watch your hair.
And now he's moving the truck around, coming back into position here so we can.
He's just like.
Did he even have a foam pad on?
Just a neck brace.
Unbelievable.
Like just.
Hey, they did it, so we don't have to.
All I gotta say about this: cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Very popular back in the
Dr.
90s.
Roxo,
Dr. Roxo, Metalocalypse quote. Yes.
Well, do we have time to talk about side acts that were good or bad? Because obviously that's some side act monotony.
Oh hell yeah, we still got time, don't we, Cheech?
I don't know.
Sure.
Cheech was on the wrap.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have a little bit of time left, but
scumbag Reptar.
Oh man. I mean, of course, Quad
right
Wars.
back.
What's some side acts that tried that went away?
The car jumps like Brian Carson. Those were
Spanky
always
Spangler.
Spanky Spangler. Those were always some of my favorites. Quad Wars, aka the pro wrestling of monster trucks. Yeah, sand drags, or they called it thunder drags or thunder body sand drags. I think they called it.
Yeah. Do you remember the U.S. Off-Road World Series in 98, 97 that had everything?
Yeah, they even
that
had
was a good time.
Some of the Bigfoot trucks there, Digger.
Yeah. Well, isn't that where it was one of those events where Dennis went wild in Seattle?
Yes, I think that was
flat tire.
I think that might have been number 8 he was driving.
Yeah.
Sean says Vorian. That one was always cool.
Vorian.
The Jet Quad.
Ooh, Jet Quad was good.
Vorian. Let me search up Vorian.
As a kid, I hated the sand drags because they were just too loud. They're just aggressive.
So
obviously,
Vorian,
tough trucks are ahead.
It was a jet-powered robot. So it was like a jet car.
Monster
robot
Rocks.
thing.
or
You know,
Transtorm, something from Beastron.
Let's see here.
I mean, Robosaurus was sweet because it was like overly legit.
What about the pulling tractors?
Pulling tractors went hard. That was good.
I missed the day when they'd have like the funny car pullers and the dragster pullers. Those were sick.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about how that tire rolled into the parking lot last week?
You know what?
Thoughts, opinion? Great guy, hell of a driver.
Yeah, I hate the fact that it was my design.
I mean, well, you don't have to say that.
No,
You're making it about
but
you, Brad. It's real.
no, I didn't mean to make it about me, but But it was like, really?
I'm just kidding.
But like,
it was holy crap.
Like they landed hard on the front. Like something was going to break. Something was going to break, and like I saw, like there was so many news outlets from around that area that were like, "This is unsafe. They should have more thing." And I'd be like, "Okay, listen, Linda. You know these trucks.
Freak accident.
Yeah, it's like the bolt sheared off. Nobody expects that to happen. Like he hit the ground with so much impact.
But I will say, the last time I saw that truck, the right front had one of those Bill Payne housings, the big, crazy, thick ones.
Yep.
I don't know if the left side had it yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen the truck in a couple months, but I know that right side is a little bit beefier than that left side. And I watched that left side go, and I'm like, oh, I don't think they got. But I don't know what part broke. I don't know if it's the housing or what. But that was, when's the last time something like that happened? Is kind of how I want to segue off of the person.
I don't know. Like I'll say this: the memes that I've seen about it, though, glorious. The best one was
it hit mainstream news.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The best one was a Simpsons reference of the tire sitting on Skinner's car, which is ironically a Kia. My Kia. And being such a Simpsons nerd, like that popped me.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that was unfortunate because you hate to see stuff like that happen to good people because it's just freak accidents. It's like, who would have thunk? You know, I remember seeing like some Australian footage years and years ago, a wheel rolling down a track into like an orange fence.
Dude, Australia monster trucks are just nuts. What like some of the stuff that those like that truck, like the purpose-built rollover truck, like Aussies just know how to do it. 0 F's given, like from their burnouts and everything. The only thing stopping me from going to Australia is my fear spiders.
Or
just don't hang out where they hang out. I mean, the homie in the Tropical Thunder truck walking it with no wheelie bars or nothing. I mean, his balance. I don't know the guy's name, but his balance
Michael
is some of the best I've seen in life.
Whatever his name is.
I guess. I don't know.
Like it's so cool to see like monster trucks in different countries. Like that to me is still so cool because it's such a global thing. We had Tony Dixon on from Swamp Thing about a year or 2 years ago, and talking with him about the UK monster truck scene. We had the guys from Grim Reaper and Big Pete on, and it's really cool being able to connect with people from other countries about what we all love. It really makes you think how global this industry actually is.
Yeah, I mean, the reach, it all, because it's all monster trucks, right? Whether it's BKTs, Ukraines, Gen whatevers, it's still a monster truck. And I don't know, just the reach, just social media. I mean, it's the same thing in action sports. It went from you wait for a video to come out to see what's been happening, or you try to watch on TV and get a glimpse of what's been happening. And now what happened 20 minutes ago because it's already online making its rounds. It's super.
That's true.
What I'd love to see would be like a monster truck, almost like a tape, like they used to do with the old Crusty Demons of Dirt or the old Huevos videos or Slednex. Like Slednex is still going around. Their videos still kill it. Got to meet a guy that rides for sled next. Brett Turcotte, one of the dopest sled riders out. If you ever check him out, but I'd love to see like a monster truck version of that at some point. And all I'm gonna say is, and I'll say this every single episode: slap wheelies and sky wheelers are better than stoppies and moonwalks.
Well, how do you feel about this super trendy lowrider bounce, triple bounce slap wheelies we got? Because that's almost a hybrid slap wheelie.
I don't mind
it's
it.
New and old.
I did see on what Fernando Martinez did, the little kind of back tire bounce into the moonwalk or stoppie, whatever he did this weekend. That move was really cool.
Yeah.
I actually dig that. But
But
I'm an
no
old
one
school
else
guy.
is doing it, so it's sweet. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's tasteful monster trucking, and then there's commercialized monster trucking, right? You know what I mean? I feel like the commercialized stuff has gotten so repetitive that it almost lacks creativity anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Like some dude can go out there and get lucky. Like, Weston can do some sweet stuff. But they're
He
probably gonna
proved it
say,
this
"Hey,
weekend.
that was too sweet. Don't do that again."
Or even Charlie Edmonton on Sunday, still like laid down one of the best arena runs I've seen in a long time in person. Like the dude, like Charlie Pocket still can just whoop kids' asses like nothing else.
Was it tech or just sky high or what?
He had some tech. He actually had a really good. He's starting to get really good at moonwalks and stoppies. He's starting to get those down quite a bit. But like he had a real he sent it at one point, got it right into kind of like almost like a slap wheelie, but unfortunately rolled it over. But like, don't never count Pocket out if he comes to a show. Like he's still.
Well, and I'll say
good.
For him, he's one of the like legends that adapted to stay with it. Oh, did I see Cheech needs to get on toughest?
I like to do wheeling.
Cheech, have you ever hit a wheelie? Have you ever hit a wheelie wall that steep?
Yes.
The way Brian's cutting these things. Dude, it's just ridiculous how steep those wheelie ramps are.
Yeah.
At the show. Because it's a wall, dude. Like I know some of the dirt gives once it hits. I don't want to hit that.
Hey, you just my mic dropped.
Mic drop. Pipe bomb.
Yeah, everyone, or not everyone, but some people were like, Brian's breaking our trucks. With all the tracks
I like to be the backup truck. I just want to be there at the show, but my truck at the back. That's what I want. I don't want to even be a main person. I just want to be a backup.
So you need Saginaw or Loveland because those are the only ones we get backup trucks for because it's 3 show weekends. Because Wheeling got dropped down to 2.
Are you guys doing Wheeling?
I mean,
again?
Wheeling's. As far as I know, yeah. The only thing that's switching up, from what I've heard, is Loveland is going to be pushed back to October potentially. So instead of it being in the first quarter, it will be in October of 26 instead of first quarter season. So it'll kind of be a warm up going into the next season. Because obviously, a lot of venues, and for people that don't, these venues do contracts with the promotion. So if Monster Jam holds down a market, they have that market for 3 to 5 years. So we did they did a handful year deal with Loveland. So they're trying out different times of the year to see which time ticket sales hit better because they're building a stadium out there. So once that stadium's done, hopefully we'll have that and have a big venue. But that's probably 2.5, 3 years out.
Got a Lafayette question here.
Yeah.
About is Lafayette getting a show?
Lafayette has always been 2 show. It almost got dropped down to 1 show, but 2 show weekend. The only 3 showers we have, or it was Wheeling. Wheeling's the only one that got dropped down to 2. Then Casper's just a big single show. Grand Forks is big single. And I think those are the only single hits. But almost everything's a 2 show weekend aside from
same thing with Youngstown.
Loveland. Youngstown's a 2 shower. Dude, Youngstown went hard this year. That was anytime we're in the smaller buildings and we don't get a moto mound, I'll just sit there and be like, oh, it's casual weekend. Let's get through the show. It's not going to be rowdy. Jerry rolled the truck 3 times in one night, and it's still the same body he's got on his old chassis right now. I don't know why he's all like, I'm going to make this body last all year. Technically, you could make anything last all year. It's just not going to look good. But if you go look at that, the OG Dirt Crew chassis that it's Jerry's, that body's looking ran through right now. But decade of dirt.
Jerry sends it. Like, I remember I was watching the Inside Throwdown last week when Dirt Crew made its debut at Soaring Eagle there, which still cool still cool to watch. Jerry, I'm hoping Jerry's in Edmonton, because I know DCT's came out last year to Edmonton Throwdown, but it wasn't Jerry. It was James Calhoun driving. But I'm hoping Jerry makes it to Edmonton, because him on that track, knowing Elliott, like Jerry'd send that thing.
Yeah. I mean, I know he has been liking taking his summers off, and then he just really puts his driving efforts into toughest, because he hurts himself whenever he gets on these big wide open tracks, man. He sends it. Like, he goes big, and it's impressive, but it is rowdy to watch these guys get after, because some dudes, they're arena guys or stadium guys, whatever. Jerry's an arena guy, but whenever you cut him out in a field or whatever, he flips a switch. It's like Tim Jones, but he's just trying, he's 45-year-old man, 44-ish. So he's got to preserve his body in the off season for the main season,
That's why
there is a slight bit of athleticism. There's not much to it, but there is. You got to have a good back. I keep telling him
he's the one that introduced me to rolls. Do roll bowling in the workout area, because it'll help you out, and then you get a massage from the Habo table, and you're good.
Yeah, he's got everyone on the program out here. That Jerry Beck book, dude. I'm waiting.
Well, Brad, gotta thank one more sponsor, and then we're gonna end this episode. Almost a 2-hour long one, so this is a good one.
Oh yeah, so we'll play this. We'll play this last ad, then we'll get to the end of the podcast. So we'll take a minute to hear from our friends over at Back Channel Productions.
There's a good time over there.
Oh yeah, have a good time there. But where people can follow you out there, Brad Shaw?
Yeah, you can check me out at the Only Monster Truck Canucker. Building a new website for the recently rebranded graphic design company.
He bought the rights to Pornhub.
Yeah.
So it's the new graphic design one.
No, the new name.
It's like the Halloween store taking over Skid City.
I wanted a name that kind of fits more into just general motorsports, is kind of what my goal is. Shaw Speed Design Co. wanted something that kind of rolled off the tongue, nice, and building the website. Might be working with, hopefully be working with All Monster on that. Stay tuned on that. Check me out Instagram, like I said, at the Only Monster Truck Canucker. And yeah, what about you, Cheech? Where can people follow the Flying Panda at?
You can find me at Instagram at mt_Dan_Agosh28. You can find Dan Cheech Agosh on Facebook. Let's see here. I got a phone now, so let's see.
He's got a script. This guy's so cool.
Well, Habo. So to usually there's been times where we've had carrier pigeons, we have had rats.
I'm starting to train these RC trucks to do my promotions too.
Yeah.
So if you see an RC truck coming your way, that's for me. You can go there,
Love
crush
it.
this on Facebook, crush this on Instagram, crush this on YouTube, crush this at Brad's yard, crush this on the car, crush this at Toughest Monster Truck Tour, crush this at any show, crush this on the Raminator truck, crush this on the open sign, crush this near behind the Monster Block sticker that's right behind Brad, crush this on Brad's news site that he bought from an illegal company in Las Vegas, Nevada. Crush that microphone, crush that subscribe button, crush that like, crush this video, do it for Jimmy, and that's about it.
And again, Habo, where can people follow you at, my friend?
Mine's simple. I don't have 69 plugs like the other guys. Just the Habo, THE, no space,
Just a Habo
HABO.
on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
It's hot, yeah, all of it.
Twitter.
And then if you hit up
Holiday Inn
the Toughest
Express.
Monster Truck Tour page, if you hit up the Toughest Monster Truck Tour page, I'll say anyone who follows us for the next 48 hours, I'll follow you guys back. It's me on there on the Instagram only, not Facebook. You'll see the drastic difference, respectfully. And then, things are awesome. And then, what's up?
You said
at Toughest Monster Trucks. And then for those of you that are like, oh, when you guys come to our town, this and that, it's up to the fans. Email the venues, reach out, send them letters, put us on their mind so they know, hey, there are other acts out here. It's not just Monster Jam and Hot Wheels hogging all the venue space, because that's what's happening right now in the industry, So hit up your local venues. Tell them we're awesome. We're for the people. Mom and Pop Monster Truck Tour. I just want to thank Kelly, Dave Goldman. They allow us to be our own individuals on the tour. We don't have to be cookie cuttered up in polos. We can create our own versions of ourselves and be ourselves. And thank you guys for having me on here and having a good time talking trucks tonight. Then, throughout the year, whenever the Toughest Tour is banging, I'd love to pop back on and give some updates.
Oh, definitely. Cool. And hopefully, I can make it out to one of your guys' shows. I know it's a trek from Canada to get to one of your guys' shows, but it's definitely on my bucket list of promoters to check off.
What about Grand Forks? How far is that from you?
It'd be a bit of a trek. I'm up northern Canada, so when's
you need
usually?
A flight.
Yeah, when's Grand Forks usually?
It's usually April, but I think it's going to be the end of March, going into April.
Okay,
or into April, end of March, from what I've heard.
Well, hopefully I can make it out for that show. Cheech, our guest next week again is
Kurt Kramer.
Going to be talking all things all Ramdemption, the new identity that Hall Brothers is running. And guys, check up on your friends and family. Mental health is a very important thing. If you're struggling, going through anything, please reach out. There's numbers 988, I believe. There's so many resources you have at your disposal. Please, suicide is not the answer. I've been there, and look at me now. I'm happier than ever in my life. So, things do get better. Cheech, people donate blood, right?
Yeah, National Red Cross, Central Blood Bank. Just want to let you know, I'm on Instagram. I'm on AOL Instant Messenger, Yahoo Messenger, Juno Messenger, American Online. Also, you can email me at juno.com. Let's see here. What else do I
Can I email you a letter? Can I write a letter and mail it to you?
Letter. You gotta pigeon it. You can't like just mail it. I'll put a return stamp back.
You guys remember Gravedigger Fan Club? You mail in, get a sticker and a hat pin.
I never got
that's
to
it.
that.
If you mail me, if you mailed a Panda Cheech fan club, I'll send you a Panda sticker and a pin and an IOU saying this is from Brad Shaw with an envelope to send back to people.
Dude, I still have Raminator Fan Club hero cards from 04 that I mailed in and got from Mark Hall and them.
Oh, that's sick. You should take some pictures
of
those.
04. It wasn't you.
Just for me.
All right, gangsters. I'll talk trucks all night if you let me.
Yeah. But guys, until next week, we've been saying this for 10 damn years. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody. Peace.